I study on a programming course, and recently I discovered TDD, Test-Driven Development. The idea of it excited me to no end because the ideology is this. First, you write the tests. Then, you write enough code to make those tests pass. Then, you improve the code, so refactor it. And then you go on and on and on through this cycle. That is incredible, because sometimes there are functions that are way too difficult to do everything off at once. DateAdd is a function that lets you add seconds, minutes, hours, or days to the YYYY, DD, HH, 24 MISS timestamp. Wow, it takes such a long time to pronounce. See how it only goes up to days? For some reason you can't add months, even though it's something that is pretty easily implementable. To a point. Well, I needed to create it myself to have that functionality for something else. So, in my datetime library, yeah, I know, my datetime library, I'm not even 40 yet. Add months. I wanted to create this function in which first you pass the timestamp that you want to add the months to, and then the amount of months to add. It was too difficult to understand all of the specifics of this problem at once, and honestly I haven't coded in some time at that time, so I was not sure what I'm even doing. Really often the code that I write is done purely by instinct. I do not understand what I'm doing. I just let my hands do the work and somehow it works. So TDD works really well for me. Why? Because if the tests pass, that means that what I want from this function actually gets executed. Here I have the class which contains all of the tests for this function, or this method, if we were being technical here. The naming goes something like, well, first the name of the function, and then essentially what I expect this test to do, what this test tests. And there are a couple of those to test all of the possible situations that are supposed to work. And in every test, if what the function returned isn't what I expect, it throws an error. Meaning, when I reload my script, which takes a long time now, I would get an error if some of my tests have not passed. But currently I didn't see any errors, meaning all of my tests pass. But as you grow your code base, there are more and more tests, and remembering to call each one of them somewhere is pretty annoying. So Miha on the AutoHotkey Discord helped me out with this, making a way for test classes to call all of their methods. First of all, static new. You might know the usual __ new method to be the constructor of a class, meaning it gets executed every time you create a new instance of the class. But a static one executes the first time your class gets registered at all. So essentially, once you reload your script and then code gets to your class, that's when the new method, the static new method, gets executed, meaning all of the code here gets executed. Now, this test class extends another class, which is actually what has run all in it. Let's go there. Class testable. It has one method which runs all of the methods of a class. One important thing to mention, they have to be not static, because you can't have inheritance for static properties and methods, only non-static, so that's very important. And through testable, having that method, now datetime tests, or rather the instance of this class, also has this method. So first we create an instance of the class, and then we run all, meaning run all methods. Okay, how does this work? I'll try my best to explain this because it's actually not that obvious. So what's happening here is we're trying to enumerate through all of the methods in a class. So maybe like an array, right? So R, and then we have some values. Hold on, that's better. And then we for key, or rather index, the naming doesn't matter. For index value in array, we do something. So we're trying to do the same exact thing here. But if array was an object instead, we would have to use own props. You simply have to use this to get an enumerator for the for loop when you're trying to for loop an object. However, we can't just have this own props, because the methods of a class don't actually live on the instance of the class, they live on the prototype. So you would think, oh, just do prototype, right? Yeah, for some reason that's not the case. And to get from this to the prototype, you do this base. Cool. So this base equals the instance of this class, which we then get an enumerator for. Great. And if we have a method, then we should call it. As simple as that. And now I don't have to call every single, or rather this add months. I don't have to manually call all of the methods in this class. No, I don't. I can just create an instance of it and run all. But you don't have to put it inside of the class. You can maybe you have some test loader that executes all of the classes, the test classes. So for me, it's like tests, I think. Yeah, it would be. So I could include all of the test classes and then make their instances like datetime tests, boom, and run all. I could do it here. It doesn't really matter, but for me, it's nicer to have it in the static new method. So let's actually check out whether this works at all. So when we reload the script, we get no errors because my code works how it's expected to work. But let's make it not work. Let's just add 1 here and reload the script. Now we get the error that we threw ourselves, or rather, let's jump to the actual error. Okay. Thing is, it's not actually showing us the name of the function. So let me fix that. Interesting issue with this approach, actually, because we're having a stack trace issue. Here we get the error from calling this key, and naturally it's not showing what actual function threw the error. So let's try to change it to 0. It was -1 before, and reload the script once again. And now it points at this place, essentially. And this is the code that it sees. Once again, not particularly useful. So something that you can do is put the name of the function or more important information in the error that you throw. However, if you explicitly ran all of the methods by themselves, then you would actually see the line where it says the name of the function. So I guess it depends on what feels better for you. But I have a feeling that I'm going to fix this issue somehow. I usually do. But Let's decrement it once again and remove the error, because, well, actually it works correctly. In the case that you're interested about my datetime library, first of all, don't be. I hate it. I actually deleted one time. Not because it's that badly written, but because what I'm dealing with is just so annoying that I almost don't have a choice to write it well. I mean, look at this. I don't think it looks good. Oh, that you can just ignore. I'm going to delete it later. But yeah, if you're interested about this library, how you can use it and why it's useful at all, well, I hope it's not useful to anyone, because working with dates and that shitty ass timestamp that HK has, I don't wish that to my highest enemy. And if you're my highest enemy, press a like, type some comment, maybe you have a question or suggestion. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss my content, but more importantly, stay fresh, cheesebags, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!